Oh, the bird is back.
Hello, birdie.
There's this bird. There's
Yes.
this dove that every single morning now, while I'm outside smoking a cigarette, it just flies to me. It just lands in front of me on the railing.
Uh
It
huh.
just looks at me and then it flies away.
It's coming. It's coming to judge you. It's like the dove is like coming to judge you. It's like, stop smoking, Alex. Stop smoking.
Oh, thank you so much. I thought it was like a good thing, just saying hi and okay, it's judging me now.
Hey, it's
That's
judging
good to
you
know.
for a good reason. It's saying to you, stop smoking, start vaping.
I want to actually. I think I will. I think I will. It's
See that?
better.
See that? That's what she's talking about.
You're a bad influence. I hadn't smoked in 10 years.
Oh, so you're blaming me for starting to smoke again? The
No, I'm not.
audacity of that. It's, yeah, of course.
It wasn't you.
Blame it on the Jews. Of course. Why not?
Oh, speaking of blame it on the Jews,
Yeah.
I think you have an important announcement to make.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. My first Fizzy album is on Spotify, and almost, I think, I didn't check yet, but I think it's supposed to be on iTunes, like really, 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 like just right now. And I like, and YouTube music as well. So
It
yeah,
is.
go check it out if you want to listen to some of my quirky, weird Zionist, 100% pure Zionist music. So yeah,
Exactly. I know I'm the biased girlfriend, but it is very good. It is so good.
some of the songs that you will
I
hear. Thank you so much, biased girlfriend. Some of the songs that you will hear are "Blame It on the Jews," "Qatari Sugar Daddy," "A Bottle of Soy Milk" about Greta Thunberg, "A Terrorist in a Suit" on Julani Al
love
Julani,
that
the
one.
Syrian prime minister. And what more did I put there? Oh, and Paris is Mine, which is about the Islamic takeover of Paris, my beautiful, beautiful city that I was born in, but I have zero connection to, especially now.
It
Yep.
is very good. I highly recommend. It's very, very funny. And the musics are amazing.
Yeah, it's all AI generated, but I did work on it, and I did write lyrics, so it's 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 pretty good, I think, and Alex thinks as well. So
It is very,
it's two
very
people.
good. And you put a lot of work into it, and they are very funny and very smart. And I think people are going to love it.
I
So go
hope so.
listen.
I really hope
Go
so.
listen. You
Go
won't regret
listen,
it.
enjoy, tell me what you think, write, comment, and subscribe. Tell me if you think that the songs are good, bad, shitty, unfunny, pure garbage. Tell me whatever you
No way.
think. Tell me whatever you think. I can take it. I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy, mama. I'm a big boy, mama.
Yes, you
Tell,
are.
tell me what you think.
So good. So, what were we talking about before my internet so rudely interrupted us?
I remember we were talking about Krav Maga, but
We
I
were.
think I think we need to talk about um your list. You have a list of stuff that we said that we're going to talk about.
I think we said that we were going to talk about China a little bit and the recent developments of
China,
China.
China,
China.
China.
China has
You know
been.
China. I put tariffs on China.
I will never, ever not hear the name of the country in Trump's voice ever again in my life. I can't. I
You
just
know,
can't.
China. It's our biggest enemy. You know, this is why I had to put tariffs on China. You know, it is a very, very important thing to do. Yes, the Donald. The, well, but
The Donald.
he is correct. He is correct. We do have a very big trouble with China, and not just the Americans, not just the Europeans, not just Taiwan. Also Israel. And why is that,
Yes,
Alex?
because they are selling materials to the Iranians for, I believe it was something like 800 missiles that they could use against Israel.
Hi, they. Yes.
Yeah,
They are selling them. Well, at least I know that they are selling them Timu parts that are not gonna be very, very effective. It's gonna be like, do you want to, sorry, I need to do it in a Chinese sound. Do you want to make a rocket available? Yes? No? Hi, son? Yes? So, sorry, was that racist?
yeah.
Was a little racist.
No comments. No comments.
No, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bet
It's good because it's coming from China, so it's going to take forever to get there.
it's gonna
And
take
then it's going to get
forever.
land on cus. It's going to land in customs. Maybe
Not
they're going to lose a couple parts.
it's a made in China product. I don't think the Iranians know exactly what they are up to when they're going to try and put those parts inside, and they're gonna just like evaporate with air, just just so like cheap plastic and tofu material. It's just gonna be garbage. And so this is why I'm not super worried about those rockets. I am very worried about China being another axis of evil. Uh, with
It is a part of the axis of evil for sure.
Yeah,
Just jokes apart, the Chinese are very, very strong technologically. You know, we can joke about team thing, but they are very good. So I am a little bit more concerned than you. Not overly concerned because I know that Israel has an amazing capability of defending itself, but it's still
I mean,
very annoying.
I'll tell you what. I don't think they are technologically superior, and I'll tell you why. It's
I don't think
not.
superior, but they're good.
No, they not. They're not. I'll tell you what. They just have a lot of manpower. That's all they have. They have, like, if you'll check the last 20, 30 years of advancements in technology, they have done almost nothing. Almost nothing. Because they do not try to innovate anything. They're not trying to bring something new. They're trying to make stuff cheaper and not necessarily better. And this is the problem that they have in their country. So when we're saying they are technologically advanced, what we mean is that they have a lot of people that are working, a lot of bots that are doing a lot of work in social media, pumping up propaganda. And this is true. But except for that, and again, monitoring their people with videos on the streets and everything, all of that is technology that everybody in the world has, almost everybody. They're
Yeah,
just
true.
using it and misusing it for evil purposes, for controlling their population, and for advancing a very communist propaganda kind of system. And that's why I think that I am not afraid of them losing. I am afraid of what happened will after they lose, because uh,
Mm.
I there is a problem, like in every society that you see that is crumbling from within, and China is crumbling from within. Russia is crumbling from within. Iran is crumbling from within. The problem that will
Iran,
arise that after
by the
that,
way, has, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying that the
I'll talk
problem
about
that
it
it will
after.
rise, it will be just there will be a power vacuum so big, especially for those kind of countries that are so massive, with millions and billions of people inside of those countries. And the power vacuum is going to make, I think it's going to create a civil war in Iran, in Russia, in China. and this is going to affect a lot of people, and it's going to be a major, major, major event. And then United States and Europe are going to take sides, which is the good guys, which is the bad guys, kind of like the Korea War, kind of like, Vietnam War. We're going to see it happening again. I'm not you know it I'm not saying for
The
sure
thing
it's
is,
going to happen, but it's my projection.
yeah, yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to take a while because they can run for a pretty long time on a war economy, especially Russia. They can still run for a really long time. And if China joins in, it is a little bit of a game changer. It could force the US to do something about it, which might be a positive thing. And about Iran, Iran is most definitely crumbling from within. There is so much dissent, so many protests. There have been strikes going on in Iran, like all over the country, paralyzing several sectors of activity. And I don't know if it has been confirmed or not, but I read yesterday that they were planning to do strikes, workers from nuclear facilities in Iran, which is a very interesting turn of events. I do think that Iran is crumbling from within. And like I said last time, I think that would be the game changer. I know the world would not support Israel whatsoever, but I think that one of the best things that Israel could do for the world, for the Western world, for the free world, and for Iranians would be to help them take the regime down because people are ready. People are ready. And if Iran becomes, a secular democracy, which a lot of people want. Again,
Sure.
like we said last time, they were Islamized, but they were never Arabized. They really held on to their culture, to their language, to their religion, even. And I think that could be a major, major game changer.
They were not even
Because again,
Islamized. They were not even Islamized. They were just taken
they were
over.
forced.
They were
Yes,
taken
yes,
over by an. It was a takeover. It was an
it was.
aggressive Islamic takeover of Iran. There was nothing and that is why a lot of Iranians from inside Iran that I know, people are saying Netanyahu finished the job. Netanyahu
Yes.
finished the job. They want him to finish off Khomeini and all his cronies and proxies all over the world. The moment that will happen, the moment the head of the snake is cut, I would probably say it's the head of the octopus more, because then all of
Yes.
his arms are just gonna scramble around like, headless
All
chickens.
the
They will not know what to do. Either the Houthis,
proxies,
yeah, the Houthis, the Hezbollah,
Hamas,
Hamas,
Hezbollah.
everybody's
Yeah,
gonna be. So yeah,
exactly.
and that's why I think that that will be the day that that will shift the war against Russia, against China, against the other proxies of evil, axis of
Exactly.
evil. They will shift it back to our advantage, and also it will always also make Israel look better, especially because more and more voices from inside Iran are going to say, thank you, Israel, for doing the job that we tried to do but we couldn't, and you helped us get to this position. So the
They
moment that
have
will
been
happen,
asking for it.
of
They
course,
have been asking for it.
yeah,
When,
they're begging for it. They know that they can only trust Israel right now because nobody else is doing the dirty job that's supposed to happen in Iran. Not the US, not the French, not the British, not the nobody in Europe.
yeah,
Nobody cares
yeah.
about Iran. Nobody cares about the people there. And I'm not saying that we're
And
doing it out
Trump is
of,
backtracking.
yeah,
Trump
Trump
is
is
completely
backtracking.
backtracking
Totally.
on what he did in the last administration, which, again, at the time, I did not understand. I didn't know enough about it. I was like, is this guy a lunatic? Is he ending a nuclear deal with Iran? But realistically, we know now it's just words on paper. They're not going to respect it. And
Oh, we know they didn't respect it. We know that while in the Obama administration, they kept building um, nuclear facilities that were under the noses of the people who were supposed to inspect it. They never checked those facilities because they were secret facilities. So the whole, like, I also believed in Obama. I also believed him when he signed the deal with Iran. A lot of Israeli leftists believed him. I again, I feel duped. I
I
feel
did
duped.
too.
I feel like a fucking idiot that believed that they can be trusted with something. Apparently not.
The amount of money that was funneled into Iran since then is unreal. It has been funded by Western funds. It is surreal, completely surreal. And people don't understand the risk. They are this close to having nuclear weapons.
And all those
This close.
people who are saying that Israel, America is funding Israel. Why should we fund Israel? Why should we give them money? You know why? Because American taxpayer dollar went first and foremost in the billions to Iran. You have
Yes.
funded terrorism against us, against the West, against other people, against the Iranian people themselves. You do not deserve to talk. You should shut up. You should help us fix the problems that you have created yourself, your administration, right? But still, help us deal with that shit. And then after we deal with that
Yeah.
shit, you can start talking about funding Israel, not funding Israel. Let us deal with this shit and then we'll talk.
And not just that, a lot of what people have been spewing the last year and a half about, America funding Israel and America helping Israel, a lot of that was not a handout. People were like, why are we giving them weapons? And I just need to preface by saying I am by no means whatsoever a Trump supporter. I have huge problems with Trump. But he said, and he was right, why are we giving them weapons? Because they paid for them. They bought them with their money. People are operating a lot under the false assumption that Israel is just getting money and getting weapons and getting help.
Yeah.
Most of these things are legal purchases. And some of them had been signed before this war started. So it's absolutely ridiculous.
And
And
then we'll
also,
say
you're right.
APAC and APAC and APAC and stuff like that. It's also very, very stupid.
People don't know what they are talking about, and one of the groups that I hold the most accountable for this is the media, Western media,
True.
because they know better. They have the information, and they are choosing to run propaganda. They are choosing to never recant false news, like we had a few days ago of an Israeli tank opened fire
Kill
on
50
a
people.
group of people
Yeah.
that were waiting for humanitarian aid, and it was not. It was still recanted. Even the freaking BBC, even though their text, I read the whole thing. It is so convoluted. They tried so hard to hold on to the possibility that hypothetically it could have been Israel is ridiculous.
I mean,
You guys should read it. It's hilarious.
one of the biggest casualties of after October 7 was not just the media as a whole, like uh, you know, companies, big companies, but specifically the BBC was just time after time. Not that it was just proven wrong, it was proven biased to Hamas. Again, not to the Palestinians. Let me rephrase
Over
that.
100 times.
They were
Over, I
they
think it's
were
like
biased to Hamas. There is no way of saying it otherwise. They know the truth. They could have said anything else about the hospital that was bombed, that wasn't bombed by Israel, about the so many stuff, the starvation that didn't happen, the Hamas taking aid. Oh no, we don't know if Hamas is taking aid. Oh, for fuck's
the
sake.
only comparison to this is if people imagine that after 9/11 happened, the entire world started supporting Al Qaeda, started funding Al Qaeda, started funding Pakistan, started funding Afghanistan. It is insane. It is suicidal
Well,
empathy.
it's not
People
just
do not
funding.
know.
What it's the idea that the BBC is there telling the world, well, we don't have the full picture, but we know it's Israel that did this. We know for sure. How? Well, trust us because we're the fucking BBC.
And then they bring in the experts, and the experts prove that it's wrong. There is actual footage proving that it's wrong. So they kind of recant it. And then I think also CNN went with it and said, oh, it was not Israel. But all the news media around the world, including here in Portugal, they never recanted it. And that's what I say, why I say that most people are just very, very misinformed. And the responsibility for that, other than, organizations like the UN, et cetera, which we already talked about, is the media. That
Yes.
not only is the damage, even if they presented fake news and they recanted, part of the damage would already be done. But in this case, they are not even they're not even correcting their claims when it is proven beyond doubt that what they said did not happen. It was fake, and they're not saying it. They're not recanting it. And the problem here is that at this point, so many Jewish people are being attacked around the world, including children.
Yeah.
Children are getting stabbed in the subway in London for being Jewish, and the blood of these people is is on their hands at this point. They know exactly what they're doing. They keep spewing propaganda. We have this conversation, right? A lot of people are very well meaning. They are just very misinformed.
Yep.
And why would they not trust the news that they have been seeing for decades and taking them at their word? Why would they be lying? It's a huge responsibility. There are lives at stake. There are lives at stake, and people need to understand the same thing that we say about Ukraine, that they are not just fighting for themselves. They are fighting for the West. They are fighting for Europe. They are fighting for the free world. It's exactly the same thing when it comes to Israel. Even way before this war, through intelligence partnerships and things like that, Israel has been thwarting attacks on the West for decades. They've been having our backs for decades. And the smartest thing that Europe specifically, because that's what concerns me, I'm here, and I'm scared. The best thing that Europe could do is partner with Israel in defense and be
Instead,
a freaking
instead
united
of
front
that,
against Iran
yeah,
and against Russia. Because people know this. People watching the news know this. Since the beginning of the war in Ukraine, where are the missiles and the drones, etc., coming from? They are Iranian. They are Iranian. And October 7th happened coincidentally on Putin's birthday. It was such an amazing distraction, such a freaking amazing distraction, distracting the entire planet from what he's doing in Ukraine and what he's planning to do after Ukraine,
of course.
and just focusing everybody's attention on Israel as being the bad guy. And people spewing, when it was not even happening yet, the war in Gaza had not even started yet, and people were already saying that you guys were carpet bombing Gaza, that you were genociding Gaza. They were prepped and ready to go and ready to run with the
Oh, we
propaganda.
know that. We know that. We have seen the Instagram posts from the Socialist Democratic Movement in New York, the BLM posts with the paragliders. They were up and ready days before the attack
Before
happened.
they knew October 7th was going to happen. Also in
Yeah,
Columbia
people on
University,
American
there were
soil.
publications, there
American
were
soil.
flyers ready to print with the freaking paragliders before October 7th happened. These people knew that October 7th was going to happen. The blood of the over 1,000 women, men, and children that were massacred, and the unbelievable number of people who were hurt, is on their hands. And nobody's holding them accountable. Nobody's
And
holding these
now
people
and now
accountable.
that
No one is holding the media accountable whenever they fail to correct fake news when it is proven that it is fake news, and anything about it.
It's and not just that, but when they are called to take action, like what happened with Gary Lineker with his post about Zionism and having a picture of a rat on it,
Yes.
and he was called out about it, and the BBC was called out about it. So what did they do? They fired him with a swan song, giving him a last goodbye on his TV channel or radio channel or whatever, and giving him a very nice package to live his life. He can literally, the guy can not work. He doesn't need to work, and he still has millions of dollars of after years and years of working, and they gave him more just to end his career at the BBC because all those years of just pure joy, pure
Just for
joy.
optics. Just for optics.
Yes, they are
It is
playing. They
just
are
disgraceful.
playing a dangerous game, and you know what? It's gonna come and bite them in the ass because you know what we know. You know what we know. We know that if there's one thing that Islamists are very proud of, is that they are known for stabbing their socialist um, leftists in the back.
Yes.
As you can
Which
see,
is,
what happened in Iranian Revolution way back in the 70s, that happened already. We all know what happened when the leftist organizations, especially the college organizations and the leftist media that helped promote Khomeini to status to control, they were the first to get executed. Imagine that.
yes, that's the thing. I'm not sure everybody knows about it. I'm not sure everybody knows about it. Khomeini was in Paris, I think. At least it was in France. And it was the European leftist students, the academic elite in the West, that put him in Iran, put him in power, along with the student revolution in Iran that were against the Shah for other reasons. And they got him in power, and they were the first to be massacred and executed. And to this day, Evin prison, which is one of the most notorious prisons in Iran for political opposition and dissidents and stuff, is known as Evin University because most of the people who are usually imprisoned there are either students or professors. They are academics. They are the ones fighting the regime. And we are seeing the same thing happen in the West. We've been seeing it happen in college campuses in the US and across Europe. And just yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I saw this fascinating news here in Portugal about ISCTE, which is one of our universities, is starting a course on Palestinian studies.
Of course.
It's the freaking death of Western democracy, and we are witnessing it, in the first row, and we know how it ends. We've seen how it ends.
Yeah, this time we're not gonna happen. We're not gonna let this happen. This time we're not gonna let this happen like it happened with Iran and with other countries that were taken over by Islamic fanatics. We are going
I'm not
to
so hopeful for Europe, to be honest, right now.
listen. First of all, every country in Europe has their own specific problems, and I don't know if everyone will, you know, take control of their country in the same way, and if they'll do like something good, like if they'll really push it out. But I am trying to be hopeful. I am feeling that more and more people in the West, in England, in America, in even in France, are pushing against this so-called immigrant problem. This is not an immigrant
Yeah.
problem. This is a very, very specific kind of religious fanaticism that is trying to take control of of your life, of everything. They're not gonna stop, and until all the wives are gonna be covered in burqa, and they're gonna stop until all the the men are going to speak Arabic, and all the children are gonna say in the mosques, "Oh Allah, kill the Jews, kill the Christians, oh Allah." It's never gonna stop at this, and it's and that's
Until we have Sharia law in Europe, which they are saying loud and clear on the streets and in the mosques that that is what they are doing, that is what they are aiming for.
yeah,
And just yesterday, again, lovely, lovely news here in Portugal. There was a whole piece about Islamophobia and the horrible dangers of Islamophobia.
of course.
This is not a migrant problem. This is a radical Islam migrant problem. Those are the ones that are problematic. And part of the problem here in Europe is that, as you say, there is a very strong movement against this. The problem is those that are politically capitalizing on it are the far right parties. And here in Portugal, in very few years, we have seen a party that did not exist get into parliament, and now in the last election on May 18th, it just happened. They are now the second biggest party in the country, and projections are saying that for the next election, they might very well win, or at least be part of a coalition. Now, I don't know if people remember, but Hitler didn't win an election. He was a minority part of a coalition, and he still rose to power. And we have to get our heads out of our asses here, which is why I keep saying that just because we know about all this, it doesn't mean that we have to compromise our values or our political stance. And the left needs to wake the fuck up,
The left,
because
yeah, the left and the
yeah,
right
because what's
needs to
going to happen?
understand. The left and the right needs to understand that right now there is a common enemy. I don't fucking care if you are politically right, left, far left, far right. If you are economical left, economical right, I don't fucking care. I think right now there's a big situation where people are just blind to the fact that this group does not care on which position you are politically. They do not care. They care only if you're not an Islamic Muslim extremist, and then
Exactly.
they will come after you. And that's the thing.
Exactly.
That's the thing. So as long as you keep it in mind and stop with the partisan bullshit of being, oh, I'm left, oh, I'm right. We need to start working together. Left and right needs to start
Yes.
working together to find a way to push back on this very, very scary problem.
And to be able to work with nuance, which is something that is lost on people right now. Again, it is not a migrant problem. Europe needs migrants. It is a radical Islam migration problem, period. And people think that this is going to be the solution. We are seeing the whole of Europe turn far right, and it's going to bite everybody in the ass. People forget what they stand for. People forget what they do. And even regarding the Jewish, it's kind of the same thing. It's like radical Islam, their first and foremost goal is to eradicate the Jews, and then they're gonna come. It's what they say. First they come from the Saturday people, then they come for the Sunday
Sunday
people.
people, yeah.
That is a fact. But it's exactly the same thing that happens with the far right. First they will go after radical Islam, and they will go after every single other minority, including the Jews,
Yes.
because the far right has been one of the most vocal about spewing ridiculous anti-Semitic propaganda for years. They still paddle the whole thing, like people are still buying that, the Jews control the news, the Jews control the banks. Please make it make sense. If the Jews control the media, if the Jews control the world, explain to me why every single freaking Western outlet, every single media, every single organization is against Israel. Make it make sense. This is ridiculous. People need to start using their brains and realizing that going far right is not going to be the solution.
Nope.
It's just not. It's
It
just
doesn't
not.
look like it, but people are saying right now the problem is the far left. I agree. Right now, biggest problem comes from the far left. But just because we're seeing that the biggest problem right now looks like the far left, it doesn't mean that the far right is oh so good. We just need to join it. No, 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 no. The far left and the far right, like the horseshoe theory, in the end,
Exactly. That's what I
they
was gonna say.
coexist in a very beautiful
It is
heart
the
of
horseshoe.
hate. Yes, exactly.